is that it's not a lack of faith for people to ask for evidence, that just because these claims and miracles reports are being made, we don't have to just accept that.
Ma'am, when it comes to people who promote the NAR movement and the leaders like Randy Clark or Chris or Bill or Dr. Michael Brown or whoever that might be, Sid Roth and many other people, they claim that there are many people who have raised people from the dead. There are many healings which have happened, cancers being healed, and there's so much of healing all over the place. But do we have any proof of any healing? Like, through the research that you have done, have you found that anybody has been raised from the dead or anything of this sort? And how far do these people's claims come close to the evidence that is being presented?
Right. Well, what I would say is that these claims are being made all the time, that these miracles are happening all the time, healings from diseases or resurrections even. But the evidence is not put forward, and not for the amount of the claims that are being made. So Bethel Church, for example, they claim that these things are happening daily at their church, and people travel from all over the world because they hear these reports that people are being healed daily. And so, but that evidence is not put forward. And what we talk about in our book, when we talk in our chapter on healing, is that it's not a lack of faith for people to ask for evidence, that just because these claims and miracles reports are being made, we don't have to just accept that just because somebody else or even someone we respect said that they think a miracle occurred. We need to look for evidence and see if there's good reasons to believe that a miracle has actually occurred. And I think Doug might have a lot to say about this topic as well.
Yeah, I would say that a mythology has grown up around the Bethel Church movement so that people that are not able to see it firsthand and see it for themselves believe a lot of these testimonies and these reports of signs and wonders occurring around the clock when these are not corroborated by good evidence. And so this mythology has attracted a lot of people to come, and expectations are very high. I mean, this is serious business. I know people personally, and some of them have been prominent Christian leaders who have been diagnosed with terminal illnesses, and they have, as a last resort, but in real faith, gone to Bethel expecting some kind of cure and not receiving that at all. And this is destructive of faith when this happens, especially when Bill Johnson is teaching that God desires and wills that everyone be well. That's actually not even consistent with Scripture, because we know that we are all appointed once to die, and sooner or later our time is coming for each one of us. It's happened even in his own life, of course, his father, but more recently, just in recent months, his own wife, Benny Johnson, passed away from cancer. So this is a reality that we must learn to reckon with in confidence and trust in God, understanding that we live in a fallen world, and to create the impression that you can come and expect to be healed of the worst physical illnesses that you might have, or psychological difficulties, mental illnesses, is promising something that is simply not being delivered, certainly not being delivered on the level that is being promised. And then when there are reports that it's actually happening, we think that is a lot of hearsay, it's anecdotal, and it's not supported by medical corroboration. And even a recent documentary that we've seen that talks about how God is performing miracles of healing through people like this in the movement. When they talk about the Bethel Church movement, as the director of the film himself was associated with Bethel, he offers nothing that's really documentary evidence for the miracles that they purport to see happening on any kind of regular basis. And then, of course, we've interviewed people who have been students at Bethel School of Supernatural Ministry. And eventually, many of them have actually left the movement. Some of them with their faith in tatters. They don't know what to believe anymore. Some of them with renewed faith because they have read their Bibles and found Bible preaching churches. But we've asked them on a regular basis, what did you believe about the miracle claims that were being made while you were a student, and what are your views now? And so far, what they've told us is that they don't believe that the miracles were happening as reported.
Yes, sir. Like you said, especially during the COVID times, we've seen back here, even in India, there were many, many, many false prophets who claimed, and people lived in denial that nothing is going to happen to them. There are a lot of people who haven't even gone to the hospital or taken medication, thinking that we are going to be healed because our prophet or our pastor has released a prophetic over the phone. And there are many people, sadly, who have passed away. And that is so true that it just shatters our faith, and we are just left with blaming God again. And there are so many people who are a result of this false teaching.